let's do it.
Hi, good evening. We're going to be starting right at 6 o'clock, so we're going to be waiting a few more minutes for folks to log in. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be waiting just a couple more minutes for folks to log in right at 6 o'clock. Okay, it's 6 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening and welcome to the online open house and lead Q&A for the lead service line replacement program. My name is Kevin Cappers. I'm the lead program manager for Greater Cincinnati Waterworks. And tonight with me, we have Sarah Citizen, community outreach liaison for the lead program. We have a short presentation prepared that walks through an overview of the lead service line replacement program and some current opportunities for customers to sign up if we're working in your area. At any time, you can submit a question in our live chat, and we'll attempt to get to any question we receive, and any of them that exceed our time, we're absolutely happy to take offline and make sure your questions are answered. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into our presentation, and then we'll have plenty of time for questions immediately following that. So Sarah, if you could take it away with the presentation.
Absolutely. I am Sarah Citizen, again with Greater Cincinnati Waterworks, the community outreach and education for the lead team. We're super glad you could join us tonight. We're really excited about sharing information and getting people signed up for the program. So this is just our little team slide. Lead was a common material used in plumbing in the late 1800s and early 1900s. So in Cincinnati and its outlying suburbs built in that time, we have a lot of lead in our system. Of our 250,000-ish customer base, we have about 36,000 lead lines still left out there that we need to get replaced. We do treat our water to not interact with that lead and to not allow that lead to leach into the water. But if that scale that's created by the treatment breaks down, it is possible for lead to leach into the water if customers still have a leaded service line or lead in their private or on the public side of their service line. So the water service line is the line that brings the water into your home or business from the Greater Cincinnati Waterworks main. The public side is owned by Greater Cincinnati Waterworks and runs from the main to right around the sidewalk area, which is what we call the curb stop. The private side is owned by the customer and runs from the curb stop right around the sidewalk area in most houses up into their home and up to their Greater Cincinnati Waterworks meter. So that's what the service line is, and our program replaces both the public side and the private side that's owned by the customer at no out-of-pocket cost to the customer. So the primary risk for lead exposure in water generally would be if a customer still has a public or private side lead service line. You can see this image here depicts what a lead service line looks like, what that material looks like. And again, we do treat the water to keep the lead from leaching into it, but if lead does leach into the water and it's consumed with lead in it, or if citizens come into contact with lead through paint or soil or some other way of getting lead into the body, it does have negative effects on humans. Pregnant women and children under 6 are the most vulnerable to the negative side effects of lead, but it isn't really good for anyone. But children and pregnant women are the most at risk. Some of the symptoms and signs that you may see in newborns would be being born prematurely, low birth weight or slowed growth. In children, we see developmental displays, irritability, loss of appetite, weight loss, fatigue, nausea, hearing loss, and seizures. In adults, lead exposure can lead to high blood pressure, joint and muscle pain, headaches, abdominal pain, mood disorders, reduced sperm count, and then miscarriage or premature birth in our pregnant mothers if they have exposure to lead. So Greater Cincinnati Waterworks has been replacing public side lead service lines since the 1970s. And in 2016, the City of Cincinnati and Greater Cincinnati Waterworks put together a lead program to begin replacing not only the public side of lead service lines, but also the private side to assist customers in doing that. Prior to 2016, citizens were completely responsible for all of the cost of replacing their private side lead service line if that needed to be done. So in 2016, City Council enacted an ordinance to replace, at that time, the 42,000 or so public and private side lead service lines that we had in our water system. And that was on a cost sharing model. So 40% of that cost, up to $1,500 of the private side replacement that customers were responsible for, was paid by Greater Cincinnati Waterworks. We did also have a help program that would pay the entirety of that service line cost for our lower income customers who were eligible for that program. But prior to 2021, citizens were paying a portion of their private side lead service line. Then in 2021, Council did change that ordinance to allow Greater Cincinnati Waterworks to pay for the entire cost of replacement for everyone. So any customer with a private side lead service line is eligible for the no cost private side lead service line replacement. And since the beginning of this program in 2016, we've replaced about 6,100 lead lines. So we still have a number to go, but we are pretty proud of the amount that we've been able to do, again, at no cost to our customers. So there are a number of ways that we currently get with customers and work with customers to get these lead service lines replaced. The easiest and most efficient way is through water main projects. So when a water main project begins in your area or in a customer's area who has a lead service line, we reach out to the customer and get them signed up for lead service line replacement during that water main project. So the water main is replaced, and then customers get new service lines as part of that water main replacement. We also do individual service line replacements. We call them one-offs. And those are when just one replacement is done on a street or at a time. Those are generally if there's a leak or a break on a line that could cause that scale that we talked about earlier to break down, or also if a customer has a disturbance to the line, a high lead result, or some other kind of service line disturbance that would initiate doing just one of those one-off replacements. Then we also do clusters of lines in neighborhoods that are targeted on smaller scale projects to replace just those private side lines, kind of street by street, or in areas that are kind of clustered or grouped together. So we are going to replace all of these lead service lines, but it is going to take us somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 10, if not a little bit longer years, to get all of these service lines replaced. So while residents are waiting for it to be their turn for them to be replaced either through a project or if they have some issue that would make them eligible for one-off replacement, there are a number of things that you can do while you're waiting on that. The most important thing to do would be find out if you have a lead service line. You can go to our website at lead.mygcww.org. We have a lead map right there on the front of the page that kind of shows what your service line is. You can click on that. It brings up our interactive map. You can plug your address in or any family member's address in and find out if you have lead on both the public side or just the private side. And then another thing that customers can do is sign up for free testing. If a customer's lead content in their water comes back above the action level for replacement, we would move forward with lead service line replacement at that time. So also on our website, there's a little icon to test your water. You can click on that, enter the information about your property, and Greater Cincinnati Waterworks crews will deliver a 3-bottle test kit. You fill up those bottles, contact us, we come back and pick them up. It's very easy for customers to do. And again, there is no cost for that. We test all of our customers' water at no out-of-pocket charge to our customers. So we encourage anybody with a lead service line to test your water, see where you are. If the scale is working for you, then you would wait until you're replaced on one of the large scale projects. But if you come back above the action level, we would start working on your replacement at that time. Another thing customers can do if they do have a lead service line is flush the water if it's stagnant or sitting for more than 6 hours. So when you get up in the morning, when you come from work at night, if you haven't used water in 6 hours, just turn that tap on, leave it flow until you can kind of feel a difference in the temperature. And that would rush out any leaded water that might have been sitting, if it's been sitting in that line for an extended period of time. And then our other big ask for people is just when we reach out to you, when we contact you, and it is your turn to have lead service line replacement done, please answer our calls and text messages and things and return that signed agreement. When it's your turn, you get an agreement that we have to have back and signed. We cannot do your replacement without that signed agreement that does have to be signed by the property owner. So when it's your turn and we send that to you, please return it and take advantage of this program. It is incredibly important to get these lead service lines out, even for rental properties, for businesses, we need to get all of them out. So when it's your turn, please send that back to us. And then one other thing, be sure that you're updating your contact information with Greater Cincinnati Waterworks if you've moved or you have a different mailing address for your account, if you have rental properties, if you've gotten a different phone number, email address, please update those so that we can get a hold of you when it is your turn for lead service line replacement. So we had talked earlier about some of the projects being how we do the lead service line replacements and those really being the most efficient for timelines, financially, really they are the most efficient way for us to get these service lines done in large groups and large areas. So we're going to talk about a few of the current projects that we have right now. The first one is Jonathan Ruth and Woodburn project. This is a service line only project. So these folks already have copper on the public side, the Greater Cincinnati Waterworks owned side, and we are offering to replace their private side service lines if they are lead. So we have 184 right now on this project eligible for replacement. And construction is going to start in early 2025. So if you live on any of these streets that are highlighted here on this map, Jonathan, Ruth, Blair, St. Ledger, Woodburn, there's a little section of Gilbert too over there. If you live on any of those streets, please reach out to us. If you've gotten text, email, anything in the mail, please respond, give us a call. We're more than happy to walk people through the process or answer any questions you might have. We also can send agreements via DocuSign. If you are on the project and you're interested in that, you just need to reach out to us for that. So this is our current project that will be happening very soon in Evanston, and we'll be going out to the Evanston Community Council. We'll be doing some door knocking and sending some additional things out to folks. So please, if you get those materials, it's not a scam, please call us. We would love to replace your service line. And then Beach is also a service line only project. So again, those are the folks who already have a copper Greater Cincinnati Waterworks side, and we are looking to replace your private side lead service line at no cost. There are 249 on this project. Construction began in November. If you live on any of these highlighted streets, you've likely seen our teams already out there working. So if you live on any of these highlighted streets, again, please reach out to us. We can send things via DocuSign. We have an iPad. I can bring the iPad out. You can sign in person on the iPad. We have a bunch of different ways to get agreements signed. We will make it happen if you are interested in lead service line replacement. Construction, like I said, began in November, and I think it's slated to go still for at least another month or two. So please contact us. This is, let's see, Rosemont, St. Lawrence, Regina, Academy, Beach, Seton, and Harris, and then West 8th. So again, if you live on any of those streets, please reach out. We would love to get you replaced. Then our last project that we're going to talk about tonight is the Baltimore project. Baltimore is a water main project. So for this one, we will be replacing all the water mains in this highlighted area that you can see here. So there are 113 lead service lines for replacement on this. This is a section of Baltimore, St. Leo, Casper, Seeger, Rinkmeyer, and water mains will be replaced also on Yost and a couple other streets, but I don't believe that there were any service lines on those. So again, if you live on these highlighted streets or in this area, construction is slated to start in the next couple weeks. This project will be done by phases. So they'll be doing water mains and then service lines by phases here, starting on Baltimore and kind of working up and in. So again, if you live on any of these highlighted streets, please reach out, contact us, or answer one of the contacts that we have made to you, because we would love to replace your line. And again, for all of these projects or for any lead service line replacement done by one-off or for any reason, we have to have the signed agreement back to move forward, because we're coming into your private property and working on your property. So we do absolutely have to have those lead service line agreement back and signed, and they do have to be signed by the registered owner of the property. So we covered a lot of ground. If anybody has any questions, please post those now or send those in for us. If you have additional questions and you don't want to post them in the chat, you're welcome to contact us either by calling 513-651-LED 5323, or you can go online or send an email to us. So there's a bunch of information out there on our website. We'd love for you guys to check it out or give us a call if you have any questions.
Thank you, Sarah. So I don't see any questions so far. I think you just did such a great job explaining everything. There's just no questions.
I do love
it. So a few of the common questions that come up are really one of the main ones is what type of disturbance am I going to see in my yard and in my house? And the reality is it's very little. So that these replacements are done trenchlessly. So what that means is they're not digging a big trench through your entire yard to do this replacement. Likely what's going to happen is there's an excavation at the sidewalk area, and that's really it. So crew will work from the inside where the meter setting is in your basement. They'll cut some lines and very minimally disturb there. The main need is just to make sure they have access and they have space to work right around the meter. And then the installation goes from there. It goes from that hole in the sidewalk all the way into the building in one seamless installation method. So it goes very smooth. It's a short amount of time. A lot of folks think it's going to take much longer than the reality is. It's only going to take a few hours to get this thing done. So they'll need to have access to your building. Someone will have to be there for the duration to make sure that our contractor has access the whole time. But then that's it. The replacement's done. The contractor will help with flushing to make sure that there's not any pieces of that old line still left over. So they'll flush the line very well. And then from there on, the customer's left with a filter kit and a test bottle. And what that test bottle does is it tells us if the flushing was done adequately enough. So customers need to use that filter kit until we have that test result back. So about 3 days later, customer can fill up that bottle, call us or message us to get the bottle picked up from your front porch. We'll do the analysis for free, and we'll verify if the flushing was done adequately enough. And if it was, then you no longer need to use that filter. So really, it is a pretty easy and painless process, and it improves the value of your property, removes a health risk. So it's just a win-win all around. So let's see, other questions. One other frequent question is this really free? And the answer is yes. Sarah, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, it is completely funded through Greater Cincinnati Waterworks, so there is absolutely no out-of-pocket cost to our customers. We just need you to sign up. It's completely funded through us, so there is no out-of-pocket cost at all for our customers to take advantage of this, and that's why we encourage people so aggressively to do it now while it's completely funded. We have no reason to believe that funding will go away, but it is always possible, so please do take advantage of it while there is no cost.
Absolutely. And as Sarah mentioned earlier, the way to take advantage of this is our team will reach out to you when we're in your area. The requirement is that the property owner must sign that agreement. So that's what authorizes the replacement to happen. The property owner also, with the agreement, gives us the contact information that we hand over to the contractor. That's what they use to schedule the work, talk through the process, and make sure someone's there the day of the install. So again, if you have any questions at any time, please submit them through the chat function. We'll pause just for a moment to see if there's any more questions that come in. Not seeing any questions so far. So, Sarah, how do you feel about walking through our website? Are you able to pull that up for us? And we'll take a quick visit to the website.
Right over here. So this is our main page of our website. And this infographic is really helpful for a lot of people who don't have an extensive knowledge about, water mains or service lines. A lot of folks don't know that they even have a lead service line until we make them aware that they do. So this image here kind of depicts, this is our Greater Cincinnati Waterworks owned water main, which is out in the right of way under the street. And then this is the public side of that Greater Cincinnati Waterworks main that Greater Cincinnati Waterworks owns, maintains, is responsible for. Then this would be the area that we call the curb stop connection, which is generally right around the sidewalk and that grassy area between the sidewalk and the street generally. And this is also the point where water can be turned off externally outside if that needs to be done. And then the private side, again, is the portion that runs from this curb stop connection into our property owners' homes up to their Greater Cincinnati Waterworks meter. So again, this is the portion that's owned by the customer on the left-hand side, the private side running into the home, and Waterworks owns from the sidewalk out to the street to the main. So again, it is 100% paid for by Greater Cincinnati Waterworks. There's no out-of-pocket cost for customers to take advantage of the program. Then this is our lead map. So you can open the lead map here, click on it, and then this will populate up to the lead map. And there is a disclaimer just, explaining that these are the records to the best of our knowledge. It is possible that a line could have been replaced without it being reported to Waterworks. So you can search right here, any address at all, and it'll pop up and kind of show you what your line is. There's a little legend here on the front page that kind of shows everybody what it is. When you're looking at the screen, the left-hand side is always going to be the public side. The right-hand side is going to be the private. So as you're looking at these ones that have two green boxes are green on, are lead, are copper on both. So they're completely good to go. They wouldn't need lead service line replacement. If one or both boxes are yellow, that means at least part of the line is lead. If it's on the left side, it would be the public side. If it's on the right side, it would be the private. So these here, double boxes are public and private. And these here have lead on the private side, but not on the public side. So the Waterworks side is copper and the private side is lead on those. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what's going on there. It is possible for there to be an unknown. We have very few unknowns, but if you do see a black or gray box, that just means that we don't have information about what your line is, but we have very, very few of those in the system. So the majority of them are either green or yellow. If for some reason you believe that your service line material is incorrect, if you get a letter telling you that you have lead and you're like, no, we have copper or some other material, you can come here to our self-identification page. And what we ask customers to do if they disagree with the service line material that we have in our records is to self-identify that. So we kind of show here, this would be the outside wall where the water line comes in. So this would be your private side service line coming into the building. And this is your Greater Cincinnati Waterworks meter. Then this is the pipe to your home internal plumbing. We ask that customers take a photo showing all of this and that they test this area right here. So what we ask customers to do is to gently scrape this area right here near the wall, but before the meter, with a penny or screwdriver, just something metal that'll scrape off any paint, residue, corrosion, or anything on that line. And then these images here show lead, copper, and galvanized steel. Those are the three most common materials. And then these are the images that we're looking for customers if you are you disagree with your lead service line record. So we would like a photo showing the entirety of that test area and then a close-up of what your specific material is, and this one is copper. And then there's a link right here. It's kind of small, but it's right there, and that'll populate a form that you fill in, and then you upload those photos. And then one of our experts will take a look at them, identify your line material, and then if it needs to be changed, it would be changed. We do 2-point verification. So if you do have a copper line and our record indicates lead, your photos are 1 point. The second point would be an excavation at some point in the future to verify out by the curb stop, because it was not uncommon many years ago for only part of the line to be replaced and for folks to have lead still out in their yard, even if they have a nice new copper line inside, or possibly vice versa, if there was a leak or some issue. Today, we wouldn't do a partial replacement on a lead service line, but many years ago, they were done. We find them fairly frequently during our replacements and projects. And then some of the other key points here on the website is to test your water for lead. So if you want to test your water, you click on this icon and it's going to open up this area here to request either a test kit or pickup. So if you're requesting a kit, you open this up, you fill in some very basic data about your property, answer a few questions, and then our Waterworks teams will deliver the kit to you. When you need it picked up, when you're done and the bottles are filled, you can come back here and do it online, or you can call or text. And there are instructions in that kit that they drop off. It really is foolproof for folks. It's a good kit and very easy to use. We have some additional information up here. We have our community outreach page, which just has information about our online open houses and the other things that we're doing in the communities. We have our neighborhood stats that show how many lead service lines we still have in all the individual neighborhoods here. So you can look the total number, how many have been replaced since 2018, and then how many we have left in your area that need to be replaced. There's also information about school testing. Greater Cincinnati Waterworks offers no cost testing for schools and child cares. So we have all the data about the schools that we've tested online. We have information about testing for child cares online. And then we also have our frequently asked questions if people are just looking for some basic data. And then, we just have some information, up here, most of which we've already kind of covered, how we do the replacements, when we do them. This is our timeline for replacement. So once you sign an agreement, when replacement is offered to you, the contractor is going to give you a call, talk to you about your specific replacement, schedule a date and time that works for you. Then they'll do the replacement. And as we talked about before, they do assist our customers in getting everything flushed out correctly so we can be sure that anything that got into the line during the replacement gets out. Then you do your water sample within 3 days of that replacement. We come and collect it. And then we do restoration for the property. That can take generally 60 days if it's done during the summer months. If it's a winter project, it is most likely that your final restoration won't be completed until the following spring or summer. So for our customers who get replaced over the winter, it is a little bit longer for permanent restoration, but we do temporary restoration to ensure, safe passage on the sidewalk and safety, but it will be until the summer or spring for replacements done during the summer, generally by June 15th. And as of today, it looks like we're at 6609 for total replacements through the project or through the program. So we are getting them done one by one. And then we have some testimonials and things that customers can watch if they're interested. And just kind of some basic videos about how the replacements are done, what it looks like. And again, customers just sharing their experiences.
Thanks, Sarah. We can pause for another minute. You can utilize that chat function if you have any questions. And of course, if you have questions after our presentation tonight and our Q&A time, we're happy to chat anytime. So email us at lead@gcww.cincinnati-oh.gov or call us at that number that Sarah has up there. It's 651-5323. So we'll just pause for another minute, see if there's any more questions that come in. I know one question that comes up frequently is for tenants in rented buildings. Unfortunately, tenants cannot sign for a lead service line replacement. It must be the owner at this time. However, tenants may call us and schedule a lead test. So we're happy to send you a lead test kit to see if there is actually an elevated level of lead in your water or not. Likely not, but we are absolutely happy to send that to you regardless of if you own the property or not. So please take advantage if you visit our site and know that you have a lead service line. That is a free service, so please give us a call or email anytime. We'll just pause for another minute, see if there's any more questions or comments that come in. We don't have any more questions at this stage, but feel free to use that chat function. We're here until 7 o'clock. So absolutely submit any questions or call or email outside of that time. Sarah, do you mind if we walk back through that presentation again for any folks that are just joining or missed the initial presentation?
Absolutely. So lead was a common plumbing material used in service lines and in other plumbing in the late 1800s and early 1900s. So for cities like Cincinnati and our outlying communities and suburbs, we have a lot of lead in our water systems because that was the material that was used during that time. So for any city built in that time frame, they are going to have a considerable amount of lead in their lines. So of our 250,000 or so customer homes and businesses in the area, we have about 36,000 lead service lines left that we're working to replace. And we will be offering replacement to all of those, but it will take us somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 13 years to get all of those replaced. So the biggest potential for there to be lead in your service and in your water system right now is the service line. And the service line is the water line that brings the water from our Greater Cincinnati Waterworks main into your homes, businesses, and buildings. And that line, again, runs from the water main under your yard and up to your Greater Cincinnati Waterworks meter. And that's the service line for your home. So if that is lead, it is possible that lead could leach into your water from that service line. Greater Cincinnati Waterworks does treat our water to not corrode or not interact with those lead service lines. But it is possible if there's a disruption to that line or some problem or issue that scale could break down and then that lead could possibly be able to leach into the water. So the primary risk would be if you have a lead service line, and you can see here, this is what a lead service line looks like. So if this is the line that you see coming into your home, it is likely that you have a lead service line. We did just do notifications over the last few months for all of our customers who have lead service lines. So we did make those notifications so that people would be aware. So again, we do treat the water to prevent leaching of lead, but it is possible for it to be in the water, also paint, soil, and other contaminants. And lead does have harmful effects on humans if we ingest it. The most vulnerable for effects of lead, if it's ingested, are pregnant women and children under the age of 6. They're going to have the worst outcome if they have exposure to lead. So some of the symptoms that we see in newborns who have been exposed to lead would be being born prematurely, low birth weight, and slowed growth. For young children, we see developmental delays, weight loss, fatigue, irritability, loss of appetite, nausea, hearing loss, and seizures. Symptoms in adults include high blood pressure, mood disorders, joint and muscle pain, headaches, abdominal pain, reduced sperm count, and for our pregnant moms, miscarriage or premature birth. So it is really important that we get all these lead service lines out, and our city leadership and Greater Cincinnati Waterworks recognize that, and they have been, or we rather, have been replacing public side lead service lines since the 1970s. The public side of your water service line is the line that runs from our Greater Cincinnati Waterworks meter to the curb. And then the private side, owned by the customer, runs from the curb or curb stop into your home up to your waterworks meter. So Greater Cincinnati Waterworks has been doing public side since the 70s. And in 2016, City Council enacted an ordinance to allow Greater Cincinnati Waterworks to replace private side service lines for our customers. At that time, we had about 42,000 combined public and private side lead service lines left. Today, we have about 36,000. So at the inception of the program in 2016, it was a cost-sharing model. So Greater Cincinnati Waterworks covered a portion of lead service line replacement on the private side for customers. They did 40% of that, and then the customer was responsible for 60%. Waterworks did 40% up to $1,500. We did also have a help program that would pay the entire cost of certain citizens who are eligible, low income, and some other factors. So we were paying 40% at that time, and then also had a low income program to cover lead service line replacement on the private side for customers. In 2021, City Council extended that to cover the entire cost of replacement for everyone. So any Greater Cincinnati Waterworks customer who has a lead service line is eligible for lead service line replacement at no out-of-pocket cost. We've done over 6,100 so far, but we still have quite a few to go. So we are really proud of what we've done, and really, really excited about getting all these lead service lines out and carrying this project and this program to see all of this lead service lines out of our water system so that there's no risk to anyone from lead service lines. So we remove our lead service lines for our customers in several different ways. The first and kind of largest scale way that we do lead service line replacements is through water main projects. So when a water main project is planned for an area, we add the lead service line replacement into that water main project. So all those customers on that project, they get a new water main and they get new service lines, and that includes replacement of private side service lines if they are lead. So if you have a lead service line, you can get your entire service line replaced during that water main project. We also do individual service line replacements, which would just be one individual line being replaced for several different reasons. This is done on a more case-by-case, generally more urgent basis. So if somebody has a leak or a break on their service line, we do that as an emergency one-off. We call all of our singled out replacements one-offs. We also do one-offs if a customer has a high lead result. So if you test your water through Greater Cincinnati Waterworks and you receive a lead level in your water above the action level, we would do that replacement as a one-off. We also do them for service line disturbances and a number of other reasons when it's necessary, but primarily for leaks, breaks, high leads. And then we also do clusters of service line replacements on the private side, kind of by neighborhood or targeted areas. So we'll do kind of little pockets or little packaged bundles of them together at a time. Doing more at a time is more cost effective and just a little bit easier. So we talked about 36,000 lines that need to be replaced and the time frame that it's going to take to do that. So most of our customers are going to be waiting until a large scale water main or service line project is put together for their area. So while you're waiting for your property to be added to one of those large projects, there are a number of things that you can do to reduce your risk of lead and to be ready when it's time. The first thing would be to go figure out if you have a lead service line. So we did just do notification to all of our customers via letters and emails also for people who we had emails for. But if you're unsure about whether or not you have a lead service line, you can go online to our website at lead.mygcww.org. There's an orange button. You can click on that and enter your property address in, or any family member or friend's property address in, and it will tell you whether or not you have a lead service line. There's also an area there to report if you think that our record is incorrect. On our website, you can also sign up for free water testing. It is completely free through Greater Cincinnati Waterworks. There's a button to click, very simple, answer some basic questions about your property, and we will deliver a 3-bottle lead test kit to you. You fill those bottles up, get a hold of us through text, email, or a phone call, and we will come back and pick them up. If the lead level in your water test kit exceeds our action level, we would move forward with the replacement of your property at that time. Then while you're waiting for replacement, another thing that you can do if your water has sat unused for 6 or more hours is flush your line. So turn that line on, let it run for around a minute until you feel the water temperature change. That kind of means that you're out to the main, and then that would flush any lead or any contaminant or anything out of that line by flushing, just if your water's been unused for an extended period of time. For every lead service line replacement that we do, we absolutely have to have a signed lead service line agreement, because this is your private property that we're coming onto and working on, so we have to have your permission. So our biggest ask at this point is just for people to take advantage of this no-cost lead service line replacement when it's offered to you. So when we reach out, we send postcards, we send a big packet in the mail with the agreement. We do blaster phone calls, emails, text messages, we leave voicemails, we do door knocking. When we come to your area and we offer a private side lead service line replacement to you, please take advantage of it at that time. If you miss it, it could be a number of years until we're back around working in that area. So please, when Waterworks reaches out to you, be sure that you take advantage of this and sign that service line agreement. We can come out to your house with an iPad to sign. We can do DocuSign. It really is not difficult to get it signed. We're willing to work with you and be sure that you have the opportunity to do this and to sign this agreement to get your lead service line replaced. And then just the one last thing about that is, if you have not updated your Greater Cincinnati Waterworks contact information in quite a while, please do that as well. We are going to reach out to you at the contact information that you have provided to us. So if your email address is different, if it's a rental property and you live somewhere else, please be sure that all of your contact information is correct with our customer service side, so that we can be sure that your agreements are going to the right places and that we're reaching out to the right people. So we are going to talk about a couple of the projects that we have ongoing right now. Our Jonathan Ruth Woodburn project in Evanston is going to be starting construction in early 2025. This is a service line only project. So these homes that are on this project already have a copper Greater Cincinnati Waterworks public side, and they have a lead private side. So on this project, we will just be replacing the private side of the line, which runs from right around the sidewalk up to the Greater Cincinnati Waterworks meter in the buildings. We have about 184 properties on this project. We've just begun reaching out and getting a hold of customers who live on these highlighted streets here. So if you live anywhere on this highlighted map, Jonathan, Pleasant View, Woodburn, Ruth, St. Ledger, a little section of Gilbert and Woodburn, please reach out to us. Send back that agreement. It's not a scam or a trick or anything like that. It really is just a no-cost private side lead service line replacement. We'll be doing additional contacts, but please feel free to reach out to us at our contact information if you live in this service area for this, if you have not gotten an agreement yet. Our November of 2024. It is also a service line only project with 249 lead service lines on it. Again, this is one where the public side owned by Waterworks is already copper and the service lines are lead. And we would, again, like to get all of these replaced. So if you live in this highlighted area and you have not heard from us, or you have your agreement, but you haven't sent it back yet, you have questions or anything like that, please reach out. Again, this is going to be Rosemont, West 8th, Harris, St. Lawrence, Beach, Seton, Academy, and Regina. So if you live in this area, you may have already seen our contractors out there doing work and doing a lot of these replacements since November. We've got a couple months left on this project, and we would love to get your lead service line replacement done for you. So please, if you are a property owner or a renter or anybody in this area, if you have family over there, please let them know so that they can get their service line replaced. Then the last project that we're going to talk about tonight is the Baltimore water main project. This project is slated to begin construction in the next week or two. It got pushed back maybe just a little because of the crazy snow. So this is a full-scale water main project. So on this project, we will be putting in new water mains as well as new service lines. So there are 113 lead service lines on this project. So if you have a lead service line and you live in this area, we absolutely can replace your lead service line as part of this water main project. We've been doing contacts on this for probably 4 or 5 months. So if you live in this area and you have not yet heard from us, or you've been looking at that agreement for a couple months and haven't sent it in, please send it in or reach out to us. Or if you threw it away, call us, we can get you another one. So there's a small section of Beekman here, Baltimore from Beekman to Westwood Northern Boulevard, Seeger, Casper, Brinkmeyer, Arthur is also on there in Bristol, but I don't believe there are any lead service lines on those. But please, if you live down in this area, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about lead service line replacement and make sure you get done if you're one of those lead service lines. And we absolutely love to talk to our customers. Please give us a call or send us an email, go online, check out the website. If you have any questions about anything that we've talked about here tonight or anything at all related to lead for yourself or a friend or family member, please call us at 513-651-LED, which is 5323, or go online. You can also send us an email at lead@gcww.cincinnati-oh.gov. That's also on the website under our Contact Us field. We would love to get your line replaced for you.
That's great, Sarah. Thank you for running through that again for us. So we are still not getting any questions. So I think that is just an indicator that we're doing a great job explaining. So I'm going to run through a couple of the common questions we have again. And then if we get any more in the chat, we will certainly address those as we come close to our time to wrap up here. So one of the common questions we get is has to do with yard restoration. So first of all, the scope of the work does not require much disturbance to begin with for yards. In reality, most installations, it's just an excavation at the sidewalk. And 100% of the restoration is included in our work. So it may not always take place right at the time of the replacement. There might be temporary restoration depending on the weather and contractor availability. But rest assured, it is absolutely going to be done. Our contractors will restore the sidewalk, and that is a requirement of their permits, so they're required to do so. So sidewalk restoration, the yard area, it's going to be receive some topsoil, some seed and straw. So we will put things back in the condition that we found them, absolutely. One of the requirements to get the job complete is to have access to the meter inside the building. So if there's a big pile of things around the meter or what have you that's blocking the work, we ask that the owners take care of that and relocate that ahead of time, so just to make sure when the contractor arrives, they're ready to get the job done. That'll help minimize any time that they have to spend inside your building, and make it as painless as possible. Water outage and really the total work itself is less than a half day. It is pretty quick, so it's only a couple of hours to get this replaced. Contractor will do the flushing at the end and help make sure it is put back in 100% working order and everything's cleaned up. And as they leave, water's restored. So they'll drop off a filter kit and test kit at the time of completion. Customers must use the filter kit until about 3 days later they can fill that test bottle and send it to us for analysis. And what that does is verify that the flushing was done adequately. Sometimes it's not adequate enough to make sure that any remnants of that old lead line aren't still in there. So a lot of times what happens is it'll get hung up in the faucet itself. If you don't take off that all the pieces at the end of the faucet and make sure that's cleaned off and flushed really well. So if that's the case, the test comes back elevated still, and we will contact you and coach you through how exactly to make sure that that is completely flushed out and we don't have to worry about that anymore. Once we get a good test, filter kit can go away. We don't need that anymore. The lead is removed from our pipe, and we are lead free from our water. So that's pretty exciting that we can do that for our customers. So final question that we get from time to time is really just, is this real? This seems like too good to be true. Coming with free things, and absolutely this is real. We've done nearly 7,000 of these already. We've got a lot to go though, about 30 to 35,000 service lines left. So there's a lot of work to be done. And when we come to your neighborhood, please take advantage. Sign up. Let's get all yourself and all your neighbors signed up to get lead lines removed from your neighborhood. So that's ultimately what we want to do to continue to protect public health, get this risk removed, protect our kids from that potential exposure. So it's really important that you sign up. And absolutely, if you have any questions at any time, we're here to help. Our team, that's the reason we exist. We're here to answer any questions, make this process as painless as possible. So give us a call at the number listed above, 513-651-5323. We are happy to chat anytime and answer your questions, or visit our website. There's a whole host of information on there. You likely saw it already if you logged into our call tonight. But yeah, there's a lot of great information on there. Requesting test kit, pickup requests, that can all be done through our website or through our call line. So please utilize these free services to protect our neighbors. So with that, we're going to just pause for another minute and see if there's any more questions before we wrap up our online open house tonight. Okay, let's see. We don't have any other questions, so I will wrap up with this. Sarah has gone through the current opportunities. There's quite a few other ones out there, and definitely a lot coming. So for anyone that is not included in one of the current opportunities, there is absolutely more to come. We are systematically working through the entire service area to get these service lines replaced. And as we do so, we are accelerating things. Last year we did about a little over 1,200 replacements. This year we're already tracking to be around 1,600 to 1,700 replacements. And for the next few years, we'll be accelerating up to 3,000 replacements a year to get to as many people as we can, as fast as we can. So it is just a matter of time before we come to your neighborhood if we're not already there. So we will just pause for one more minute to see if any last minute questions come in, and then we will wrap up our call for tonight. We do these calls once a month. It's the third Wednesday of the month from 6 to 7. So if you have any further questions that you'd like to have answered through this format, absolutely join us next time, or spread the word to your neighbors to join us. We are happy to field any questions you may have, because likely if you have a question, your neighbors have the very same question. So definitely let us know if there's anything you want us to cover and talk about. And in the meantime, we're available via email, phone, or through our website. So I'll just give one more minute and then we will wrap up the call. Okay. I think that is a wrap then. I'm not seeing any other questions. So Sarah, I appreciate you running through our presentation with us. And if there's any other questions, feel free to call us or email us anytime, and we will certainly, we're here to help. So with that, we are going to end our call. Thank you so much for joining us.